Lots of momentum, start of the season. Airdrie's a team you know very well this weekend. How are you feeling going into this one?
No, I think just for us it's the fact that we feel we've set a really good standard to this point and just trying to keep emulating that, trying to get to that level each time we take to the pitch. Never becoming complacent, never believing that that's just going to happen for you. I think obviously, stating the obvious, I think the results have probably been a little bit of a challenge for Airdrie. I felt obviously in the experience of going down there and playing earlier in the season and getting a really good win probably could have and should have been more on reflection. But I still think you could see that they've got good players. I still think with the fact that they're full time that they get plenty of time to just keep chipping away and find what they're looking for. So I think it's going to be a really difficult game. I think sometimes, as I say, you look at other results and kind of where teams are, but you've also got a feeling that someone's going to click for them, and I think I've probably got that feeling with Airdrie. So I think for us to go and get a result there, we're going to have to be at our best version. We're going to have to find a similar level to what we found last week and have done on several occasions. And I think then and only then will you earn the right to try and go and get a victory in the game. But it's fair to say that won't be a given. I think it's a real tough test for us. And I think without a ball being kicked, if you'd asked me about this fixture, I would have told you I think it would have been one of our more difficult ones over the course of the season, and my mindset hasn't changed.
There's some similarities from the situation this time last year. I appreciate you weren't here at the start of last season. County went down from the Premiership with St Johnstone. One team started really well, one team didn't start so well. It's kind of the same this time around with County and Airdrie coming down to League One. There's a lot of the guys in there that will know exactly how Airdrie are feeling, know how desperate they are to get one over on you this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think you're always looking for that kind of breakout moment, if you want to call it that. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but you're always looking for that moment that sort of turns your season. And I think one of the things that annoyed me, and I've actually used it with our group of players, was you almost become the manana guys. We'll catch it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes sometimes. Sometimes you don't get that chance. And I'm speaking strictly from my feelings and what I've seen, that sometimes people think that first part of the season doesn't count, and then I get so frustrated when you hear people talking towards the end of the season and going, this is a massive 3 point. It's a massive opportunity for 3 points at the start of the season, and in the context it can change throughout the course of the season for hopefully in terms of success. But this mindset of it's more important as the season goes on, it's not, in my opinion. It's important now. It was important last week. It's important 3-4 weeks before that. Every single game for me has the same relevance, has the same importance, and very simply that's how I approach games of football. All of that said, if you've not been in good form and you've not been getting results, the season doesn't end, the season doesn't finish. You're looking to see if you can try and pick up that period in a season which as I say is your breakout moment, is your catalyst for something. It's our job to try and ensure that that's not the case for Airdrie this weekend. But as I say, I've a lot of respect for their guys, the staff, their players. I think they've got a pretty decent group, so I'll stress the fact again, I see it being a difficult challenge.
We were asking you last week about whether County are ahead of schedule. The minute you talked a wee bit about it then, has the mental side of it almost been the most impressive thing, how the guys have just been able to put last season completely to bed?
Everything comes hand in glove as far as I can tell. My job's not just to focus and centre on one particular thing. If we get the mentality side right, I believe that gives us chances to win games. I think that gives us chances to perform and entertain our supporters, which I believe they have been to this point. If we don't get the technical side of it, then you're going to lose out in certain results and you're going to lose out in certain performances. If I don't do my job and we don't get as close to perfection tactically in games of football, then the players are going to be under equipped. They've got a huge part to play in that. As much as I set out a game plan, they need to execute it. So I really do, Andrew. I think that everything goes hand in hand. I really do. I think probably, you know, for us maybe last season you would get a little bit of one thing, you get a little bit of something else, but never at any point can you piece it all together. It's like my golf game, you know, one week you drive well and the next week you can't putt. But that's my wee analogy in that sense. But in football, in terms, we need to be good in every aspect. Sometimes one of the areas can be short and someone else drags you through, but you need to be striving for. I always talk about perfection. How do you find perfection? I'm not sure any of us ever have done or ever will do, but I still think that's got to be our mindset every day. So I don't centre it purely on one thing. I think last week's game was a brilliant example of technically, tactically being so sound for a massive chunk of a game of football against a difficult opponent, and then you have to call on the reserves of the togetherness and the mental side to drag you through a part of a game. And as I said, that probably pleased me most, that I can allude to every aspect last week and have been able to pretty much since the season started.
I'm just impressed with your golf. That is 1 week to the next, not golf for the next.
I've not been playing golf for a while because of my hip surgery, but no, it's the one thing that us recreational golfers talk about, and I do. I love analogies, I love comparisons. It's so true. You know, trying to find a good level in all fronts will probably take some handicaps down, so to speak.
If I can continue that analogy a wee bit, as I say, week to week, maybe instead of hole to hole. Last season we were seeing Ross County be up and down within games, never even mind one game to the next. That's something that you seem to have snapped out, which is really encouraging for the hopes going forward this season.
Yeah, I just think, I hope and I think that the way that we work, that we're trying to find problem solvers, and we're trying to find, you know, our job's to prepare the players, our job's to make sure they're motivated to go and play in the game before it starts. But I always talk about the windows where you get to influence the players. You know, you get to influence them at the start of the game, before the game, in the build-up. You get to influence them at half-time, and you can certainly have an influence at the end of the game when you're reviewing your performance. But that window of the 90 minutes, the 245s, we need as many problem solvers as we can possibly get if something's not working. You've seen firsthand, you know, how we work and kind of what we do. Then my reason for that is that the players have a full understanding of how we are supposed to operate, and if that something's not working within that, something's not quite right, something's really good and we want to keep moving towards that, then the players can solve those problems as we go along. I watched Celtic last night. Really good performance, good, you know, good for Scottish football, thoroughly deserved victory, some fantastic goals. And one of the things I was observing at the time and I was watching, certainly not a criticism, I think it's the opposite, it's a compliment, that, you know, Martin O'Neill wasn't jumping about at the side going ballistic and, you know, in front of 60,000 in that atmosphere. Players can't hear you, but I was watching how the players were functioning and their understanding of what they were trying to achieve in the game. And for me, that's always a good telltale sign that that you've done your work throughout the week and that the players understand how to operate in the game. Even if you take a slap in the face, even if you can see the goal, then they still have an understanding of what's going to be successful in that game. And I think that's something I've always strived for. As much as I can be animated and I can be vocal, and I am, I think at times, you know, we should be able to take that step back if we've done our work, and the players can solve problems themselves on the pitch if we've been kind of good as a group Monday to Friday.
Do you want to go and leave
I'm just worried that I've obviously come in late, so I don't know if I've missed anything at the start, if I'm going to sound repetitive, but just after last weekend, there was a lot of commentators, analysts saying, you know, Ross County are in the wrong league this season. What do you make of that kind of thing? I know you're not wanting to get drawn into title talk, but how do you feel about that kind of praise this early on in the season?
Listen, it's where I'm kind of abrupt and quite abrasive. We're where we deserve to be at this minute in time, and I know a lot of people won't want to hear me saying that, but you know, league campaigns and results will always define and dictate where you are. The one thing that pleased me, and that's nice for the players and the football club to get that sort of praise, and I think rightfully so, to be honest with you, with the level of performance. I don't look too much into that. As I say, for us, what that tells me is that people are watching us, and I think they're entertained. I'm fairly certain that they are at this minute in time. I think they can see this run that we've found ourselves on, that I keep including pre-season games as well, because I do feel that that's been a huge part of that. And I just feel that you know, that's testament to the players and how they're operating, how they're working, how receptive they've been. I kind of touched on that there. But no, you know, with regards to you should be in a different league or not, we're in the league that we should be in at this minute in time. And it's our job to continually look to try and win games and see where that takes us without shouting our mouth off and telling people what we're going to do, which I've already alluded to. I seem to do that every single week, but I stand by that, and I'll never be any other way other than consistent. That, you know, if people are saying that, then that's great. The way that my mind works is, if people are saying that, that means that we'll be winning games of football and we'll be performing, we'll be entertaining, and we'll all be enjoying it. So my challenge to everybody here at the football club, players, staff, you know, in particular, is let's keep working the way that we're working. And it's said that something I always say is, for something to change, I'm so consistent in the way I work. For something to change, then it's never going to be me. It's never going to be what I do. Yes, I'll alter for particular games, of course we will. We think you've seen that at the weekend against Dunfermline. But the message to the players and the staff is, keep working how you're working, because you are reaping the benefits of it. There'll be times where it's tough, and, you know, as I say, you take that body blow and you've got to try and find a solution to it. But just keep working with a level of consistency, and I believe individually and collectively good things will happen for you.
Obviously at the weekend, two teams that know each other very well, but can either side draw much on that, or do you think too much has changed since last season?
Nah, I think we know each other well. We've played each other a lot over the last period of time, including the cup game just recently. I think that Airdrie will have a really good understanding of how we're going to go about our job and how we intend to play, because, you know, team selections, shapes, all that type of stuff has been pretty consistent. That's that one that we can start getting worried and pretending that we're not going to say that, but that's obvious. I think everybody will understand that. From our side, probably a little bit less predictable at this minute in time, because team selections have changed, shapes have changed at times. With Airdrie, you know, I think they played a back three against us originally in the first half, and kind of changed in the cup game, and they've had a few different variations of how they want to play and how they want to go about it. So that bit becomes a wee bit less predictable for me. My job's still to prepare the players and give them all the information I have, which we have started doing and we will continue to do for the rest of the week. So probably in those games for us, it's just about us really centering on ourselves and try and make sure that we can emulate several performances, all the while giving the utmost respect to the opposition, which I absolutely will do with John and his players.
I think that's all from me, but thanks for that.
Just a few quick ones, Stuart. What was your reaction to drawing Hibs in the Premier Sports Cup?
I have no reaction. I'm so consistent again after. I can't influence it in any way, shape or form. I think I almost screamed when my fourth child had asked me on Saturday night, who do you want in the draw, after all the questions after it. So I have no thoughts about it whatsoever. I think Hibs are a really, really good side. I do. I know an awful lot about them, watched them a few times this season already. So we'll take that game when it comes. I think that probably the one thing that I wanted in it all was a home tie. I probably wanted to play here and see if we can get a big crowd here in Dingwall and attack a cup game the way we did at the weekend. As difficult as that's going to be, but there's plenty of water to go under the bridge before we get to that point.
We'll ask you about Hibs nearer the time. Just ask you about the game on Tuesday and just store the quotes, if you like. Bankside here, County before your time, played them last year in a cup competition. Challenge Cup generally, you know, Highland League teams coming in, how are you viewing that one and how you'll go about it? I suppose it's opportunity for players.
I love the competition. I was going through the fixture list with Fiona McBean, our secretary, the other day there. We've got them out in the games. Some people will be disappointed at this minute in time if they're not in the starting 11. Everything for me is you get better through games. The more games we have, the more opportunity there are for players. If you're performing at a level, you don't just get that one just because it's another game, and you might look to change your team. So I really like the competition personally. I do. I think I've been fortunate enough to win it as a player and a manager, so I think that will show you how much importance that I put on it. And then it's an opportunity to welcome old Mucker and Paul Lawson, my midfield partner, for for many a years, and somebody that I loved playing alongside. That's the wee personal side to it. But yeah, somebody that I think the world of, and somebody that has been a brilliant teammate to me and a close ally for a long time. But it's another good game for us, and it's another 90 minutes, and we'll prepare for Airdrie first and foremost, but we'll absolutely be preparing to try and see if we can go and win the game on Tuesday.
Spoke to Andrew McLeod after the Elgin game, and he said that's an opportunity for any guys like him to try and catch your eye in a competitive game.
Yeah, spot on. It is. It's an opportunity to do well. It's an opportunity to push yourself away as well. And I know I'm always the bearer of bad news, but that's the reality of this whole thing. I single out guys like Andrew and Jamie. I think that they're in training sessions every day. As much as Andrew says about the game, and he's right, those guys have been catching their eye in sessions as well. So it's important that they're getting opportunity in these games to keep up their level of fitness, but to continue to show us that they've got real value at this football club. They've got real value in this group.
And can I just ask a question just meant to ask it last week, but Stuart Garden coming in as the goalkeeping coach, really experienced there. You've lost obviously Scott Thompson, but a guy that has played for this club, he knows it.
Yeah, no, Stuart, it's been seamless. Everybody will know my relationship for a long period of time with Scott Thompson when I first came into coaching, and how close we are. Yeah, I was on the phone to him first thing on Sunday morning after the game, talking about the game, talking the game to death, speaking about the goalies, because he's got a real vested interest in this, 12 years of service. But I think the biggest compliment I can pay was a short handover between the two guys. They know each other really well, and it was great for us to be able to try and bring in somebody with that level of experience, and how seamless that's been. Stevie Frail's worked with Stuart before at Northern Ireland. He'd brought Stuart in to set up at Northern Ireland, so again that was another bit that was linking the decision. And I think just the fact that Stuart's been up here, as you rightly mentioned, Paul, has, as I say, made the whole thing seamless. We're really happy with our goalie group. You know, Brad Wade, Brad Foster and Jayden Reid. We're delighted with the three goalies that we've got. And I think Stuart's been really pleased with what he's come into. But again, testament to the work that was done by Scott previous to him.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just check quick normal chats, team news for the weekend?
I got a list this morning. The whole thing was green first time, apparently, according to our medical staff, that every single player at the football club, including the young ones, are available. So, goal started, Becky, our physio.
And anything doing transfer-wise imminently?
Nah, listen, I did say that I thought that we would be looking to at least bring in one more. I think that's a distinct possibility, but at this minute in time, there's nothing to announce.
Sure. Thanks, Stuart.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, guys.